Most people think cash is the safe part of life. Stocks feel risky. Business feels hard. Real estate feels big, but cash feels simple. Cash feels like the place where nothing can go wrong. That belief is normal. It is also the reason people make their worst money choices during a panic, because when a banking scare hits, the problem is not only will my money lose value. The bigger problem is, can I reach it when I need it? Fast money culture tells you to react fast. It tells you to move first. It tells you that speed equals safety. It tells you that the smartest person is the one who acts before everyone else. But in real crises, fast moves often create permanent mistakes. The calm person usually does better, not because they are braver, because they have rules. This video is about rules. This video is not a prediction. It is not fear. It is not a promise that something bad will happen. It is a lesson from history. In the early 1930s, when confidence broke, many people learned a hard truth. Safe can fail if you cannot access your money. History shows what breaks first in a panic, and it also shows what calm, simple choices can protect you from making a rushed mistake. In 1929, most people remember the stock market crash. They picture falling prices and scary headlines. But the deeper pain for regular families was not just the market. It was the loss of access. It was the locked doors. It was the moment people learned that my money is in the bank does not always mean my money is in my hands. Let me tell you a simple story, not a famous story. Just the kind of story that happened in many towns. A woman named Clara worked in a small office. She saved slowly. She did not gamble. She did not trade. She did what people said was responsible. She kept her savings in one local bank. It was close. It was friendly. It felt solid. One morning she went to take out a small amount for groceries and rent. Nothing dramatic. She expected a normal day, but outside the bank, there was a line. People were standing close together, quiet, tense. Some were angry. Some looked pale. Nobody was smiling. Clara waited. When she got near the door, she saw a paper sign. The sign said the bank was closed. Not forever. Maybe only for now. But for now is enough when you need your money today. Clara went home without cash. She still had a balance. But she did not have access, and in that moment, access was the whole point. That is the part people miss. In a crisis, money is not only a number, money is a tool. If the tool is locked away, it cannot do its job. Now, it is easy to hear this and say, that was a long time ago. Things are different now. Some things are different. Banks are stronger in many ways. Rules are tighter in many ways. We have safety systems that did not exist back then. But one big thing did not change. A bank is not a personal vault with your name on a pile of cash. A bank is a system that works because most people do not need all their money at the same time. In calm times, this is fine. It is convenient. It feels smooth. You tap your phone. You swipe your card. You transfer money. It feels like instant control. In stress times, the system is tested. And when people fear they might lose access, they rush to withdraw. That rush can spread fast. It becomes a chain reaction. In 1929, news traveled by paper and word of mouth. Today, fear travels at phone speed. One post can move millions of minds in minutes. One rumor can turn into a crowd action by lunch. So the lesson is not panic. The lesson is design. You design your cash plan so you do not have to panic. And this is where a Buffett-style mindset helps. The mindset is simple. Protect the downside first. Avoid fragile setups. Build a margin of safety. Do not depend on one perfect outcome. So before we talk about the 3 places not to keep cash, we need one clear idea. Cash has 2 jobs. Job 1 is value. Can it hold buying power reasonably well? Job 2 is access. Can you actually use it when you need it? Most people only think about job 1. They compare interest rates. They compare small details. They chase a little more yield. They chase what looks smart on a screen. But job 2 is the job that matters during a banking scare. If you cannot access cash, it does not matter that it was safe on paper. There is also a 3rd job people forget. Cash protects your behavior. If you have a strong cash plan, you are less likely to panic sell long-term investments during a market drop. You are less likely to make desperate choices. You are less likely to become a forced seller. Forced selling is when you sell because you must, not because you want to. It is one of the biggest killers of long-term wealth. It breaks compounding. It turns short-term fear into long-term damage. So a strong cash plan is part of long-term investing. It is not separate. It is the floor under your feet. Now let's get practical. Today we will cover 3 places people rush to keep cash when they get scared. These places feel safe. They feel normal. They feel easy. But if banks fail, or if trust in banks falls, these places can create hidden risk. We will start with the first one. It is the most common. It is the default for almost everyone. Place number 1, not to keep cash, if your goal is to be stable in a banking panic, is this. Do not keep all your important cash in one single bank account and call it safe. This is not an attack on banks. Banks are useful. Many people use them for good reasons. The issue is not the bank. The issue is the single point of failure. If all your emergency cash sits in one place, then one problem can block your access. The problem could be big. The bank could be in trouble. There could be a system freeze. There could be long delays. There could be daily limits. There could be temporary rules while things get sorted out. The problem could also be small. Your account could get flagged by mistake. Your card could stop working. Your app could be down. Your phone could break. Your password could fail. Your identity could get stolen. Your bank could lock things for security while you try to prove who you are. In normal times, these are annoying. In stress times, they can be a serious problem. Because stress times are exactly when you want smooth access. So the core mistake is not using a bank. The core mistake is putting your whole cash life behind one door. Here is a simple way to think about it. If you only have one exit in a building, you are fine until that exit is blocked. If you have 2 exits, you have options. Options are safety. This is the 2-door rule. Do not build your life so that one door controls everything. Now, you might ask, how do I apply this without overthinking it? Use a calm checklist, not a fear checklist, a design checklist. Ask these questions. If my bank app goes down for 2 days, what happens? Can I still pay for food and gas? If my card stops working today, do I have another way to pay? If my bank has a long wait time, can I still cover a bill this week? If I need cash fast, do I know my limits? If a bank closes for a short time, do I have another path? Notice something about these questions. They are not about the stock market. They are not about predicting a crash. They are not about being dramatic. They are about simple life access. And this is where people get trapped by a common thought. They say, but I trust my bank. Trust is good. Blind trust is fragile. A strong system does not depend on trust alone. A strong system has backups. The wealthy do this all the time, not because they are paranoid, because they plan for bad weeks. They do not want one bad week to ruin years of good work. That is margin of safety in real life. Here is another important point. In a panic, people rush to do one big move. They move all the money at once. They switch everything. They try to solve fear with action, but big moves under stress are where mistakes happen. So I want to give you an inner script, a short sentence you can use when you feel the urge to do something fast with your cash. Say this to yourself: I will not trade my peace for speed. Then ask a second question: is this a real problem or a fear problem? If there is a real problem, you still act. But you act with a plan. You act in steps. You act with checks. You do not act like you are being chased. Now, what does acting in steps look like? It looks like building layers instead of betting everything on one place. Think of cash like water for a long trip. You do not carry all your water in one thin bottle. If it leaks, you are done. You carry more than one container, so one leak does not end the trip. That is the mindset. And in the next part of this video, we will go deeper into this idea of layers, because the second place people keep cash during fear is even more tricky. It looks modern, it looks smart, it often pays more. It often has a clean app and a confident message, but during stress, it can become confusing very fast. In the next section, we will cover the second place not to keep cash if banks fail, and we will use a simple test you can run on any platform to see if it is truly simple and strong, or just smooth on the surface. Because in a crisis, simple beats clever. Because in a crisis, simple beats clever. Now let's talk about the second place people rush to keep cash when they get nervous. This one is very modern. It looks clean. It feels smart. It often promises more interest. It often comes with an app that feels fast and safe. And that is exactly why it pulls people in. Place number 2, not to keep cash if banks fail or if trust drops fast, is this. Do not park your emergency cash inside a platform you do not fully understand. This includes many cash apps, cash management accounts, and all-in-one money platforms that mix banking, investing, and payments in one place. Some of these tools can be useful. The point is not to label them good or bad. The point is that during stress, complexity becomes a risk. In calm times, you only notice what is easy: quick transfers, a nice dashboard, a higher rate, a smooth design, a feeling that you are being efficient. In a crisis, you notice what is hidden. Who really holds the money? Who owes you the money? What rules apply when everyone wants to move at once? How long it takes to get access? What happens if the app goes down? What happens if support lines are flooded? This is where many people get surprised. They think they have cash, but they actually have a claim, a promise, a chain of promises. And when stress hits, chains can snap at the weakest link. Here is a simple way to see it. A normal bank account is already a system. Your money does not sit in a box with your name. It moves through the bank system. That has its own risks, like we talked about. Now imagine a platform that adds extra layers. The platform might use partner banks. It might move money behind the scenes. It might sweep your cash into other places. It might route your funds through different parts of the system. Each layer can be fine in normal times, but each layer is also one more thing that can slow down in stress. And stress is when you want fewer layers, not more. Let me tell you a simple story that shows how this can feel. A man named Jason had most of his cash in a finance app. He liked the app because it felt modern. It paid more than his bank. It let him move money quickly. It made him feel organized. Then a scary weekend happened. A bank in the news collapsed. Social media went wild. People started posting, "Move your money now." Jason didn't want to panic, but he felt pressure. So he tried to move a large amount to his main bank just to feel safe. The transfer did not go through right away. The app showed a message, something like pending or under review. No clear timeline, no clear answer, just waiting. Jason refreshed the screen again and again. His heart beat faster. He tried support. The wait time was huge. He opened other apps. He searched online. He saw more fear. He felt more fear. Now, maybe Jason got his money after a short delay. Maybe everything ended fine, but the damage was already done. He learned that he did not control access the way he thought he did. He learned that when many people rush at once, systems can slow. And he learned something even bigger. His plan depended on calm conditions. That is the key idea. A good safety plan should work in bad conditions. This is why Buffett-style thinking matters here. Buffett does not build plans that need perfect timing. He builds plans that survive bad timing. He builds plans that survive stress. So when it comes to cash, the goal is not maximum rate. The goal is maximum reliability. Now, a lot of people will ask, but what about protections? Isn't money insured? Isn't it all safe? This is where you need to slow down and separate words that sound the same, but are not the same. Protected is not the same as accessible. Insured is not the same as instant. And cash is not always the same thing across platforms. Some platforms hold money in bank accounts. Some do not. Some rely on partners. Some have rules that change when markets are stressed. Some may have protections in certain cases and limits in other cases. This is why you should not trust a label. You should trust a clear explanation. So here is a test you can use. It is simple. It is calm. It helps you spot risk before the storm. It is called the cash clarity test. Ask yourself in plain words, where is this money right now? Not where does the app say it is? Not where do I think it is? Where is it in reality? Then ask, who owes it to me? Is it one bank? Is it a partner bank? Is it a brokerage account? Is it a fund? Is it a wallet system? Is it spread across places? Then ask, what is the path from here to my hand? Can I move it the same day? Can I pay bills? Can I withdraw cash? Can I move it if one system is down? And last, ask what happens in the worst week, not the worst day, the worst week. A week where support lines are flooded, a week where transfers are delayed, a week where rules get tighter, a week where fear spreads fast. If you cannot answer these questions, then that platform might still be fine for some money, but it should not be the only place for your emergency cash. Emergency cash should be boring, Emergency cash should not require you to learn new rules during a panic. Emergency cash should not require you to trust a chain of promises you cannot see. Now let's connect this to investor psychology, because this is where most people slip. When rates rise, platforms compete. Everyone starts talking about yield. People post screenshots. People brag. People say, "Why would you keep cash in a low-yield place? You are losing money." That is a form of pressure. It is yield FOMO. It is not the same as stock FOMO, but it feels similar. It tells you that being safe is being stupid. It tells you that being careful is falling behind. This is how people trade their safety for a little extra return. And that trade might seem fine in calm times, but during stress, that little extra return is not worth the confusion and the access risk. So here is a strong inner rule. Use it when you feel pulled by yield. Say this to yourself: emergency cash is not an investment. It is insurance for my behavior. Insurance is not supposed to be exciting. Insurance is supposed to be there when things go wrong. This is also why it is dangerous to mix your emergency cash with your investing account in a way that tempts you to act fast. If your cash sits right next to a button that can quickly move into risky assets, you are more likely to do it when emotions run high. A market drop happens. Your screen is red. Someone online says, "This is the bottom. Buy now." If your cash is already in that same system, the step from calm to action becomes too easy. That is how people break their long-term plan. So another simple rule is this: make it harder to do something dumb. This is a life rule, not just a money rule. People often think the best system is the one with the fewest steps. That is true for emergency access. But it is not true for emotional control. For emotional control, a small speed bump can save you. A waiting period can save you. A separate bucket can save you. A written rule can save you. Now, let's talk about what to do with the feeling of urgency, because this is where crises mess with the mind. During a bank scare, you will hear strong claims. People will say, "Get out now." Others will say, "Nothing will happen." Both sides will sound certain. Certainty is comforting. It is also dangerous. Markets and money systems do not give you certainty. They give you odds. So your job is not to find a person who sounds confident. Your job is to build a plan that works across many outcomes. This is called robust thinking. A robust plan works if things are fine, and it works if things are not fine. Now here is a quick robust rule for cash. Do not put yourself in a position where one company, one app, one login, one phone, or one support line can block your life. That is the real danger of platform risk. Now, some people will hear this and swing to the other extreme. They will say, "Fine, I will avoid all platforms. I will avoid all banks. I will keep everything in cash at home." That brings us to the third place people run to during fear. It is the oldest idea. It feels simple. It feels like control, and it can also create problems. But before we get to that, I want to give you one more tool. A tool to stay calm when you feel pressure. It is called the one-page plan. This is something you write now while calm, not during a storm. On one page, you write 3 things. First, your purpose for cash, why it exists, what it protects, what bills it covers, what problems it is meant to solve. Second, your access plan, where you can reach money if one door closes, your 2-door rule in real life. Third, your no panic rules, short lines you promise to follow. For example, you might write, "I will not move all my cash in one day." You might write, "I will wait 1 day before big changes if I am not in danger." You might write, "I will not take advice from the loudest voice online." Keep it simple, keep it clear, keep it real. This one page becomes your anchor when you feel emotional, because the hardest part of a crisis is not the math, it is the feeling. A crisis makes normal people do extreme things. They overcorrect. They act like they must solve everything in one move. They chase what sounds safe. They run from what feels scary. A calm investor does not do that. A calm investor makes small, smart moves based on a plan made in calm times. Now, let's preview the third place not to keep cash. Place number 3 is physical cash at home as a full plan. Yes, cash at home can help in a small, short problem. But if you treat it like the answer to everything, you may be trading one set of risks for another set of risks. In the next section, we will cover that clearly. We will talk about what physical cash can and cannot do, We will talk about the hidden risks people forget, and we will finish with a simple framework you can use to build a calm cash system that supports long-term investing and protects you from panic. Because the goal is not to hide from the world. The goal is to build a system that keeps you steady, so time and patience can do their work. Now, place number 3 is the move that feels the most real. It is the move people make when they stop trusting screens. They say, "I don't want promises. I want something I can touch." So they pull cash out and keep it at home, in a drawer, in a safe, in a hidden spot. A small amount of physical cash can be useful in a short problem, like a power outage, or a card system going down for a day, or a local emergency. But place number 3, not to keep cash if banks fail, is this. Do not put your main cash pile into physical cash at home and call it a full plan, because you may be trading one set of risks for a new set of risks, and these new risks are often ignored because they don't feel scary at first. At home, cash faces simple, real dangers. It can be stolen. It can burn in a fire. It can be lost in a move. It can be damaged by water. It can be thrown away by accident. It can be taken by someone you did not expect. It can even create family problems because people talk and word spreads. And there is another risk that is quiet. Cash at home can lose buying power over time. It does not feel like a loss because the number of bills stays the same. But what those bills can buy can shrink, slowly, quietly, month after month. That is not a dramatic risk like a bank sign on a door. It is a slow leak. And slow leaks are dangerous because people do not notice them until years pass. There is also a practical issue. Most bills are not paid with cash now. Rent, insurance, phone, power, and many other payments often require digital systems. So even if you have cash at home, you might still need bank access to live normally. This is why all cash at home is not a real escape from the system. It is just a new form of concentration. It puts too much weight on one idea, and in smart investing, one big idea can be a weakness. Now, let's connect this to 1929 in a simple way. In 1929 and the years after, people did not only lose money because banks failed. Many people lost money because they were forced into bad choices. They sold things at the worst time. They made moves out of fear. They grabbed whatever felt safe. They reacted to rumors. When doors close and access changes, people feel trapped. And when people feel trapped, they do dumb things fast. That is why your goal is not only protect money. Your goal is protect decisions. A good cash plan protects your behavior. It keeps you from panic. It keeps you from rushing. It keeps you from being forced to sell long-term investments when the market is down. And this is where long-term investing comes back in. Compounding is not only about earning, it is also about not breaking. Compounding needs time. It needs patience, and it needs you to stay in the game. So if your cash plan is weak, you become fragile. And fragile people break their plans when stress shows up. That is why this video is not just about where cash sits. It is about how you think. It is about building a margin of safety for your life. Now, we have covered 3 places not to keep cash as your main plan. 1, not all in one single bank account with no backup path. 2, not in a platform you do not fully understand, especially one with layers that may slow down under stress. 3, not as a full cash at home strategy that creates new risks and silent loss of buying power. So what should you do instead? I am not going to tell you exactly where to put your money. That would be financial advice. And different people have different needs. But I can give you a framework, a way to build a calm system. Think like an engineer. Engineers do not build a bridge that holds only on sunny days. They build for wind, for weight, for unknown stress. You should do the same with cash. Here is the framework. Stop looking for one perfect place. Build layers. I call it a cash ladder. A ladder is simple. It has steps. You do not jump from the ground to the roof. You climb with stability. A cash ladder has 3 basic layers. Layer 1 is today money. Money for small, quick needs. The kind of money that helps if there is a short problem. If digital payments fail for a day. If you need fuel, food, basic items. Layer 2 is this month money. Money for bills and emergencies that might happen soon. This layer focuses on access and reliability. Layer 3 is flex money. Money that you can leave alone longer. This layer is still meant to be safe, but it can focus more on preserving buying power over time, not just instant access. Again, this is not a product list. This is a way of thinking. The point is to avoid one single point of failure. Now here is the tool you use to build the ladder. It is a simple stress test. For each layer, ask 2 questions. First question, what am I protecting against? Second question, what could break this plan? If you cannot answer those, you do not have a plan yet. You have a habit. Most people have habits, not plans. Habits work in calm times. Plans work in stress times. Now let's make the stress test very clear. Use these 4 risk types. Risk type 1 is access risk. Can I reach my money fast enough? Risk type 2 is counterparty risk. Do I depend on someone else staying strong and open? Risk type 3 is physical risk. Can the asset be stolen, lost, damaged, or taken? Risk type 4 is behavior risk. Will this setup tempt me to panic or chase? Behavior risk is the one people ignore, and it is often the most expensive because fear and greed do not ask for permission. They show up fast. So here is a simple behavior rule for any cash decision. If a choice makes you feel excited, it is probably not a good choice for emergency cash. Emergency cash should make you feel calm, not proud, not thrilled, calm. Now, let's talk about the biggest mental trap in these moments. It is the trap of one big move. When people are scared, they want a clean story, a single answer. They want to flip a switch and feel safe. But real safety is not one switch. It is a system. So use this decision rule. Never move all your cash because of one headline. Headlines are loud. They are built to grab attention. They do not always match reality. Your job is to protect your future from your worst day. Now, what about the idea of think like an owner? Owners think in time. They think in decades. They avoid short-term drama. So here is the owner mindset for cash. Cash is not your trophy. Cash is your tool. It gives you time. It gives you options. It keeps you from being forced. Forced selling is the enemy of long-term investing. In a market drop, the best long-term investors often do nothing, or they slowly add to quality assets at reasonable prices. They do not rush. They do not chase. They stay calm. But you cannot stay calm if your cash plan is weak. If your cash is trapped, you panic. If your cash is tangled in a system you don't understand, you freeze. If your cash is all at home, you may feel safe for a week, but over time, you may lose buying power and still be stuck needing banks for normal life. So cash planning is investing planning. Now, let's add one more lesson from 1929 that matters a lot. The worst moment is rarely the first rumor. The worst moment is when fear spreads and people copy each other. In 1929, bank runs spread by word of mouth and newspapers. Today, they spread by posts and group chats and videos. That means your biggest threat is not only the bank. Your biggest threat is the crowd inside your phone. So you need rules for your attention. Because attention controls emotion, and emotion controls behavior. Here are simple attention rules you can use during a scare. 1. Do not make decisions while scrolling. Pause first. 2. Do not take money advice from people who speak with total certainty. 3. Do not confuse views with truth. The loudest voice is not the wisest voice. 4. If you feel your heart racing, you wait. Even one day can save you. Now let's build the calm protocol. This is a short plan you follow when you feel pressure. Step 1. Breathe and slow down. Say, I do not need to act in fear. Step 2. Define the real problem. Ask, is my problem value or access or both? Step 3. Check your ladder. Ask, if one door closes, do I still have another door? Step 4. Move in small steps, not one big jump. Step 5. Write down what you did and why. Future you will forget. Fear will rewrite your memory. This is how you stop panic. Now, I want to give you a simple summary of the 3 places not to keep cash in one sentence each. First, do not keep all your cash in one bank and pretend that is a system. Second, do not keep emergency cash in a platform you cannot explain clearly, especially one that may slow under stress. Third, do not keep your main cash pile at home and assume you are safe, because you may be adding physical risk and losing buying power. And here is the bigger point. This is not about being anti-bank. This is not about being extreme. This is about being calm and prepared. Buffett-style thinking is about staying rational when others are emotional. It is about margin of safety. It is about not depending on perfect conditions, and it is about patience. Because patience is not just waiting. Patience is being able to wait without panic. Patience is being able to hold quality investments through scary weeks because you are not forced to sell. Patience is being able to ignore hype because you are not desperate. That is how long-term wealth is built, not by reacting faster than everyone else, but by staying steady longer than everyone else. So the real question is not what will happen next. The real question is, if something happens next, will I be forced into a bad choice? If your answer is yes, you don't need predictions. You need a stronger system. And if your answer is no, you have something rare. You have the ability to stay calm. And calm is a real advantage, because when fear is high, prices can fall and good opportunities can appear. Not guaranteed, not promised, but possible. And the people who can act wisely in those moments are not the people with the hottest opinions. They are the people with the best structure. They are the people who planned before the storm. That is the lesson from 1929. Not that the world will end, but that system can strain. Access can change, crowds can panic. And your best defense is not speed. Your best defense is a calm plan with layers, clarity, and margin of safety.